Some things go a little fast, particularly as we do, as we get into kind of some of the harder details. And that's why I think it's great that this is recorded. It's interesting that of all of the webinars that I do, I get some analytics on which ones are viewed again, and the ones I get the highest number of reviews where people are looking at the videos are for Excel, which is understandable because even if I go over something today, when you get around to actually wanting to use it, you might forget. So think of it as a reference, using both the template and the recording as a reference should you forget how to do some of this stuff. And I'll let you in a little secret. Every once in a while, if I have to do another webinar, I look at one I already recorded because some of this detail you do tend to forget. But we're going to start with some really basic things, and the most basic thing, besides just, by the way, let me ask you before we even begin, how many of you would describe yourself as, and I know there's no real specific rubric on what this is, so it's sort of self-identified, but please indicate whether you think you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced user. Interesting. So some of our advanced users, you may find this a little basic for today, but let's see, you never know, okay? And interesting, okay. All right, so the first thing I'm going to go over is kind of basic, but I think it's just an important thing for everyone to know, okay? And that are cell fills. One of the really great things about Excel are some of the incredible shortcuts. So I just want to go over some things that work on fills. And again, if you're intermediate or advanced, you're probably familiar with this, but maybe there's one or two you don't know, okay? So for example, if I do 1 and 2, and then I select the two cells and I drag down, it's going to give me the series. Likewise, Excel's extremely smart. By the way, it's always good to do this by beginning with a 0, or it does sometimes throw it off. So if I do 0 and 5, then it's going to give me a series based on 5 tens. The reason why you don't want to use 1 is it may assume the distance between the two numbers is 1 to 5 is 4, and I'll get in multiple series of 4. So you have to begin with a 0. All right, I think most people know that one. Here's a few others you may or may not know. If you do Monday, now I believe you only need 1 day of the week for this. And notice I abbreviated Monday, so therefore it abbreviated. And likewise, if I had spelled it out, hate when people watch me typing. And it will give you a series that way. And someone asked me yesterday, does it work horizontally? Yes, it works horizontally. So if I did Monday and Tuesday, actually, again, I don't even need the 2. If I just have Monday, and it'll work, okay? And obviously, same thing with months. And if I spell it out, it's going to work for that too. So here's one not everybody knows. And we'll see if our more experienced people know this one. Okay, so if I do check number and any series, now here I believe you need 2. So it knows what you want to do. It'll just give you check 101. So this is actually interesting. Even though Excel is treating these cells as text, because anytime you have a cell where you begin with text, it's still able to copy down the series. So whether this is check numbers or PO numbers or invoice numbers, this can actually come in really handy. And I always like to get some feedback. How many of you were familiar with that? Did you know that? Then I'll find out if my advanced users knew this. So if you knew it, just type in, yes, I knew that, or I didn't know it. Okay. All right. That's an interesting one. I don't think so. The March 15th, you mean, I'm not sure what you would want there. Are you saying you'd want the month March 15th through and then April 15th? I don't think so. I can try, but I'm pretty sure no. Okay? Because that would involve both text and numbers, and it would, in fact, I know for a fact it won't work. Okay? Let's see. It won't work. I know. I just know. It's not quite there yet. Okay? But nice try, Carl. Now, there are ways you could probably work around it, but no, that won't work. Okay? All right. So what I want to do now is just talk to you a little bit about cell widths and wrapping. And I'm an old, you could have like period 1, period 2, period 3, but you couldn't use like the 2 dates. That would not work. Okay? So, all right. What is going on there? Hold on. If I lose you here, no sweat, okay? I'll just come right back in.